Bradley. So Braddles looks as though he might be in for a tough day. Darcy wins the hit out. Wind has started on the bench, and the kick may go downfield here. No, it's coming back to the centre circle, and will be a kick in the middle to the Bulldogs after Romero was put down after he got, or as he got rid of the kick. Jose Bradley minding the mark. Off to Dimatina, who started in the 18. The kick inside 50, and on a wide lead, terrific mark. And so often Rowan Smith gets goals in the first quarter for the Bulldogs, and he has a chance to get one in the first minute.
Well, that effort in the final series last year, Drew, when the Bulldogs really blitzed the Sydney Swans, Smith was an integral part of that.
And there's something off the ball. It's going to be a Carlton free kick. Just as Smith was lining up for goal from just outside the 50, they've lost the ball, and it's coming back here to the Blues.
Drew, I saw it. It's fly on the boundary. I just noticed that I think Carlton are taking on the similar tactics that the Bulldogs have shown over the past week or so by trying to intimidate their opponents. So they're pushing and shoving.
McKay's kick goes to Sexton, but he can't control it. Garlick down the boundary line for the Bulldogs. Oh, great desperation. Sexton gets back there for the tackle, and the Bulldoggers down hurt. Well played again by Sexton. Bradley just inside the line. A little kick which is punched out by West, and a throw in at centre wing.
Through just some of the key matchups, Carlton have gone with Silvani at full forward alongside Pearce, and Manton has Grant at centre half back, and the key one, Krediuk, is matched up against Koutafidis on the wing.
That was Hudson who took a knock, but he's okay.
So Michael Sexton to the half-forward line, and the mark taken by Lance Whitnell. He turns around, bombs it in towards Silvani. Croft at the back, read it beautifully. An underrated player, Matthew Croft. He breaks away and brings it out towards the centre wing area. Oh, good mark taken out there by Dean Rice. Lovely mark out the front of the eyes. Now he's going to bomb it long. Up to Silvani, in front, no mark. Croft again, the spoiler. Taken away by Cameron. This is Dimatina. Greatly improved player, Paul Dimatina. He drives it 60 metres to Grant. Oh, lovely kick by Dimatina. Grant gets back quickly, looking for an option. Cook is one out with Peter Dean down in the square. Cook's on the lead. He should be going back. The short kick finds Steve Collinook. Now he's 60 metres from goal. Now I can remember one time at the MCG where he actually did the dummy, Terry, and ran round the man on the mark and kicked a miraculous goal.
Yeah, I don't think he'd do this one. This one's well outside his distance, so they're looking for the pack to form. Grant's going to be the option, but it's going to fall short of him.
Hudson used his body to perfection. Paul Hudson will kick for goal from 30 metres.
Well, that was the right man in the right spot there, Paul Hudson, in a little bit shorter than where the anticipated kick was to end up, and that was to be Chris Grant some 15 metres behind Hudson here. And Hudson just does enough body work, eyes on the ball away, and really I think just surprised Sexton, the actual physical contact that Hudson put in on it.
So Paul Hudson for the first goal of the game, and he has kicked it, I would think. He has.
Well, again, the midfield of the Western Bulldogs, it's one of their strengths without any doubt. We've had a good look at the settling period here ever so quickly. Croft was very good winning a contest against Silvani in the back. Then Dimatina involved in taking the ball through the midfield. Grant at centre half forward gets a bit of a touch. Collinook's involved. Then Hudson finishes off with a goal. So all of a sudden, a lot of Bulldog players have had an early touch.
Great atmosphere here at Optus Oval. And Darcy going up again. Porter gets it going Carlton's way. Hand pass back, goes to Koutafidis out on the wing. Up to half forward, Whitnell marks, too far out to score.
Cameron's his direct opponent. Leon's been playing there at centre back for the last few weeks.
Poor old kick by Whitnell made it very tough for Silvani. Romero's hand pass. Down goes Garlick in a terrific tackle by DiIulio. And the ball's over the boundary line for a throw-in.
Drew, I saw Carlton last week and their opening quarter was quite abysmal, really. They fumbled around, they weren't aggressive at the ball. Even though the Dogs got the first goal, you can see there is a distinct edge to Carlton's approach to the ball here today.
So Porter and Darcy. Darcy with the right hand, or Dent, is tackled very, very hard. The Blues are going in hard. That was Ratton. Getting around to Hamill. Up in the air towards the half-forward line. Courage needed. Oh, well done by, I think it was Croft. It was Croft. Now this is Brad Wirra transferring play because he spotted a man out wide towards half-back. This is Hudson way down there at half-back. Centres the ball to Johnson. That's beautiful play, Paul Hudson. The racehorse Johnson has the bounce, backs himself in, drives it with a poor kick to the half-forward line, and that really did let him down, Peter Dean Marks.
Gee, more often than not that happens, though, when you carry that ball, and he was going flat out. He just needed to, rather than perhaps bounce it, just to steady a little bit so he's in better balanced position to kick the ball.
The crowd rising to Cooter as he takes a mark on centre wing. The Bulldogs with the only goal of the game so far. Kicked by Cooter Feedes, short of the 50, and out of bounds on the full. And Pearce not happy with the delivery as that missed him altogether and nearly finished in the crowd.
Gee, that is sloppy. I mean, going into your forward line, if you're going to make an error in positioning of the ball, you want to position it on the inside, so there's at least a chance another player may be able to run onto it. A bit more going on.
Here's another free kick off the ball. This is about where the ball was going to land. 55 metres up the ground.
That's Cooter Feedes and Crediuk again, Drew.
Free kick to Crediuk. To centre half forward, Grant. Oh, he's penalised him for a push-out. And Manton takes the free kick, and listen to the Bulldogs fans. Bradley a bit slow. Eventually away to Ratton. Ratton a good pass to Dean at half-back.
So the ever-reliable Peter Dean, he seems to have been around for eternity. Peter Dean been a great player. Hume, eventually the hand pass comes back to McKay. Andrew McKay to half-forward. Silvani, he's marked this one. Maybe outside his kicking distance. He'll have to kick 55. He's calling for someone to move into the slot. Now there it is, the lead, and 2 bites in the mark, not taken down there. Good solid play by Matthew Dent to put the pressure on Hamill.
Just in the midfield, the pair-ups have now settled. Liberatore and Ratton are running together, and Simon Garlick is pitted against Craig Bradley.
Manton off the ground, and Clappe comes on for the Blues. Geez, a lot of tackling and hard work at ground level. Hamill, a centering pass is perfect. And the mark to Ronnie Giulio.
Very good. Some great work in there. Porter was very good in the ruck work. Ratton was equally as strong under the pressure of the Liberatore tackle. Ratton could still absorb that, feed the ball on out, and then Hamill on the left into the perfect spot right in front of goal here for Giulio to have his first shot at goal.
To level the scores from right in front, 35 metres out, and Giulio nails it.
Well, that's a good one for himself personally. I mean, last week came off the bench and picked up a few possessions here, but here's just the good work here of Hamill, just enough presence of mind. And from a team structure, that was great. David Park can be very impressed with that, in that the hole had been created at centre half forward for the forward to lead on into. It wasn't a crowded up position at all.
Simon Garlick and Ronnie Giulio doing some bumping off the ball. Here's Porter again, beating Darcy with the hit out. Crediuk tried to crash his way through. Liberatore could have been a free kick to West, and eventually the umpire has seen it.
Geez, a bit slow there, Pete, wasn't he?
So Scott West from the centre of the ground. He's been in terrific form. To the half-forward line. Punched away by Andrew McKay. On Rowan Smith, still in the field of play. This is Camporelli.
Good work.
So some good shepherding by McKay. Scott Camporelli in towards half-forward. No mark to Cameron. Now a chance for the Blues again as Pearce latches onto it. A one-on-one contest. Silvani racing back with Croft. Croft doing a good job so far, and he forces it through for a behind.
That's a good matchup for both sides, I think. Silvani is Carlton's best chance to kick a bag. He kicked 4 against the Bulldogs in a practice match earlier last year. Last week in round 1, he was off target. He kicked 3 behinds. He's the best chance, but then Croft, a good, strong, physical player, because Silvani will want to push and shove in that marking contest.
Johnson for the Bulldogs, kicks up short of centre wing. Awkward one for Cameron. Hamill did well, then Cameron tackled him well. Without the ball, says the umpire. And the free kick goes to Aaron Hamill. Comes up short to Hogg. Defenders working forward. Giulio kicked his goal from the half-back flank. A centering kick towards centre half forward. Big punch down to the front of the pack. Carlton Rovers wanted. Here's Pearce on the 50. Wasn't really attacked very hard. He had plenty of time to look and set up a kick. Good punch by Garlick. He's over the ball. You're holding it, son. That is against the Carlton player, and it'll be a free kick to the Bulldogs going against Camporelli.
So Leon Cameron to take this. Brad Wirrow was trying to claim it. On to Brad Johnson. A low trajectory kick is a good one. And a former Carlton player, in fact, has marked this, James Cook.
Blues recruited him as a schoolboy from Tasmania.
And down to half forward. Oh, free kick.
Missed that one.
Dragged off the ball. Oh, goodness me. Should have been a free kick down there to Smith. He's looking at the umpire, glaring at him. Here's Scott West, centre wing, short. Cook is on his own. He can give it off to West with a hand pass if he wants to. An ordinary hand pass, but West is good enough to retrieve it. Brings it into half forward. Plenty of Carlton players. Oh, Mark dropped by Porter. Umpire calling play on. McKay's in trouble. Gets it to Sexton. Sexton out of trouble to centre wing. The race is on. This is Whitnall. Oh, good pace by Lance Whitnall. Well played. In towards half forward. Pearce appealing for the free kick. I think that crossed the line. The umpire said no.
Umpire.
I'm sure it did. Silvani at the back. Oh, he's dropped it. Now he's got it. Steve Silvani bends it back. Yes, a goal. Good play by the Blues, but I really did think that ball crossed the line back there.
Oh, that was a goal that shouldn't have been.
It definitely did, Drew. I was standing right in front of it, so the ball was right over the line. But unfortunately, the boundary umpire was probably about 30, 40 metres down. The ball moved so quickly, he didn't get a chance to see it.
But the other thing, Fly, is Leon Cameron shouldn't have assumed either.
Yeah.
Cameron pulled up, didn't he? He didn't continue to play to the whistle. He played to what he thought.
Exactly. He really should have tried to push that ball across the boundary. He stopped, assuming the boundary umpire was going to call it.
That's right.
Darcy against Porter in the middle, while the two more senior ruckmen, Wind and Allen, sit on the bench.
I think that's good, Drew, to get those two young Turks out there to have a go in what is a very big game for both sides.
There's little Hume poking out a pass out to centre wing to White, who started on the bench, now gets his chance. Silvani! Well done, Croft. Silvani has a chance to recover. And Croft wins a possession. Out to Dimatina, unmarked just behind centre wing. Kick by Paul Dimatina. Up towards half forward. Grant with a break on Sexton. That'll be an excellent duel, and Chris Grant already has shown something like what he can do. Thumps it towards full forward. Darcy had a chance once he got up there. At ground level, Bradley. Out to Hamill and back to Bradley.
Well, there's a good start by the Blues. To half forward. It's knocked down the ground. Thereafter it was Brad Johnson. Oh, taken by Hogg. He's a tough little customer. Goes in again hard. Scotty West is in there also. This is a good game of football, Terry. They're tearing him.
Pete, the matchups are good, and there's one of them, Hogg and Scotty West against each other. Two Keeler boys, both had played at Footscray. Hoggy there before he came over here to Carlton. Very, very committed to the ball, and both those boys are out there with one ambition. That's to win the ball for their side.
Porter jumping high again. West gets a quick little kick. Punched away by Camporelli.
Macca, just a quick one, Macca. The feeling down here is actually absolutely electrifying. You can just tell it, and because it's on the field, it's also on in the stands. All the supporters, obviously, they hate each other's guts. It's sensational stuff.
Porter wins in the ruck. It comes down to Ratton, who's now been picked up by Liberatore. Oh, great punch out of defence, making sure that ball was going nowhere. And very well done on that occasion by Todd Curley.
Drew, I don't think it'll be long before one of the ruckmen from the opposition side stand up on the interchange bench, Allen or Wine. The two big boys out there at the moment, they're just starting to blow a little bit, and there's a real chance for an advantage to be gained in the big man department at this stage, I think.
Pearce at the back of the pack, thumps it long and high. Silvani, pure strength. The fullback of the century, playing it full forward, and has a chance to kick his second goal.
No doubt about it. I mean, once Stephen Silvani gets those big tree trunk legs in the front and gets that little bit of grip on the turf, very, very hard to move.
And he arched his back beautifully right at the time he had to take that ball, didn't he, Terry?
Yeah, it just creates that little bit of gap between him and the ball so it comes to him.
Great view as he kicks his second.
This is an excellent start for Carlton. After the Bulldogs got the first, they've come back with the next three, Giulio, but more importantly, Silvani, their full forward, getting the goals. Last week they had some 10 goal scorers, I think, well spread, and it was only Kuda Fides who was a multiple goal scorer with 3. He was playing on the wing. To be a good side, you need a key forward kicking a bag of goals.
An excellent contest going on down there because Croft hasn't been disgraced. It's been a really a top one-on-one contest. There's Porter again getting the tap. Oh, they go forward again, the Blues. Out there is Whitnell trying to pick it up. Sock it off the ground. Taken by Ramiro to the centre of the ground. The mark has been taken by Porter.
At the start of today, I would have conceded 5 goals to Steve Silvani. So if Croft can keep him to that, he's done very, very well.
Well, here's another mark. Whitnell's having a very good first term. A promising young player, Lance Whitnell. And they might have to do something shortly with Leon Cameron, because Whitnell's looking quite dangerous across half forward.
He's been very quick out of the blocks, hasn't he? Which is surprising for a man his size. He's a big bloke, but very quick off the mark and just getting that initial break on Cameron.
Well, he's got to kick this about 51 metres. Well, he keeps it low. It's swinging back. Beautiful kick. What a start for the Blues.
I mean, last week they really struggled up forward. They were unable to get goals. Only a 1-goal first quarter last week, and then another 2 in the second quarter. So only 3 at half time. And here now they've gone and picked up 4 in about 12 to 15 minutes to really take a stranglehold in the early part of the match. A great start to them.
Wheels, just to point down on the boundary, Johnny Manton's having a bit of trouble with his left ankle. He rolled it in that first turn, but he's just down to warm up. I think he's just about to come on, but he's been testing it, but keep an eye out for him.
Well, Ruckman nullified each other, but it was whipped forward by the Bulldogs till eventually Rice to Sexton. Sexton's kick towards the attacking 50. Oh, another great mark by Whitnell. Dishes off the hand pass to Brown. Silvani again. Bodies locked together. Silvani first back there. What a scrap.
Oh, he's got him.
He's done him for deliberately out.
That's tough.
Yeah, look, the thing about that rule, it's right, is that the ball has to be going your direction, your way, you know, so it's an anticipation trying to get him play. Here we watch him, Matthew Croft reaches over and very deliberately tickles it over the line.
Fair enough.
Silvani improves the angle, but I fear he's missed to the near side this time. 2 goals, 1 to Sauce.
I suppose he put on such a brave effort, Croft, in that contest. It was almost unfair, but he didn't disguise it well at all.
No, that's right. You need to be able to do that. Look, I still think Croft is the best option there that Terry Wallace has got. The only other one is Crediuk, and then I don't think Croft would be a good match-up against Koutafidis on the wing.
Well, that was a magnificent kick-in then by Dent. Curley's pushed in the back now. He's calling play on, the advantage paid. Liberatore, here's a goal coming up. Smith has marked 10 metres out.
That's a great rebound, isn't it? The kickoff, as you called, Peter, was just spot on and created the run. A little bit of undisciplined play on the outer side there with the push and then the down the very field kick.
So Rowan Smith has kicked the goal. And that all started, Terry, by a 60-metre kick-in to a running player.
Yeah, I mean, that's obviously the best structure to get out of your kickoff situation. See, we can see Curley, who was the receiver, he was on the run, was pushed after that kick, but that wasn't needed by Liberatore. And again, his kick had plenty of height in it, so it was going to be able to drift on and put a great degree of pressure on the Carlton defence right in the goal square. Smith judged it well.
Curley has come off the ground for the Bulldogs, and Ellis gets his first run in the seniors for the season. Porter gets it down to Brown, and Porter is winning in the middle in the duel between the 2 youngsters, but there's a whistle on the play, and it's going to be a free kick to Darcy. Ironic cheers from the Bulldogs fans. And Darcy's going to have to come back and do it again. Umpire Vernon, I'm not sure what he was unhappy with there. He might have just...
He doesn't. Oh, no. I think it was a Bradley Liberatore incident off the ball up. Drew, that was a free kick. And I don't think the statistician will have any problems knowing when Libber gets the ball today.
They'll hoot him every time. Out wide, Cook, an awkward half volley. Soccer by Dean. Hand pass McKay over the top to Dean. And the ball is out of play. They're appealing for off the boot on the full, but it'll be a throw-in. Right half forward for the Bulldogs.
Drew, you mentioned Craig Ellis coming on for his first run. He's taken up on Whitnell, because Whitnell's obviously causing too much trouble for Curley. So quick swap, then the State centre half back, hopefully from the Bulldogs' point of view, will quell Whitnell's strength.
Well, Whitnell's had 4 marks and 4 kicks already.
Yeah, the hurry kick come down towards halfway. Whitnell again put himself in front. Dent almost threw it away then. Advantage paid. Now it'll come back with us. That's good umpiring, because it didn't work to advantage, and Whitnell will take that. That umpire was Derek Humphrey-Smith. Now Whitnell immediately gives it off. This is Camporelli in towards Silvani, pushing in, shoving. Oh, Dimartina mops up beautifully and then kicks into the man coming towards him. Here's Fraser Brown racing after. Did he have the ball? Umpire said he holding the ball.
Oh, gee.
So,
I was looking for the over the shoulder one. I thought Fraser Brown had earned the free kick in the initial part. Here,
yep.
Dent's tackle seemingly as high. And I don't know how Fraser was expected to get that. That might have been one of those team free kicks where the second Carlton player in caused the umpire to call it holding the ball.
Might have been.
This is Ellis. Oh, beautiful kick to Grant. Well played, Ellis. Gives it off. This is Steve Collinook into a goal and bang it through the middle. Another one to the Bulldogs.
Well, the way in which the Western Bulldogs are getting their goal is through very quick and efficient movement of the ball through the centre of the ground. Grant obviously is the key at centre half forward. He's the player who will straighten it up at all times. But even though this is a small Grant, you still can be trapped by going wide and using too many possessions in order to score. That piece of play was indicative of the way it should go, straight up and down the centre.
Well, the Bulldogs have hit back with the last couple of goals. Terrific atmosphere here at Optus Oval. Romero can't grab it. Taken by Hogg. Blind hand pass. Past Bradley it goes. He's caught by Smith. By West. Socket off the ground by Darcy. Inside 50. Hacked out of there by Rice. And it finds the safety of the boundary line. Chance to catch our breath here. Been a phenomenal start to the game. Darcy to the back. Here's West. Good hand pass to Hudson. Didn't quite hit the target. Liberatore, beautiful paddle across the ground. Fantastic. Romero. Jose's just missed it to the right.
Oh. It's almost a gimme, that one. He won't be happy with it, Jose. No pressure, running into an open goal. But the Bulldogs have certainly picked up their game in the last 6 or 7 minutes after they were blitzed early by the Blues. There's Camporelli in the back pocket area. Now he drives it. That second kick in. Oh, it must be a free kick against Whitnell to Darcy. He interfered going for that mark. Now Darcy might give it off to Grant. He will. So Chris Grant. Oh, poor kick by an experienced player. He kicks it straight to Camporelli.
He looked straight to centre half forward, looking for a tall marking option. When one wasn't there, just his peripheral vision went for something else, and he was just thrown right out. A bad
Camporelli, Grant, oh, beautiful mark. He hit that to perfection. And now he's transferring play. That's outstanding football. He's got a loose man out there in Dimartina, who chips it out in front of Hudson. It should sit for him. Now, Paul Hudson, tight angle. Oh, unselfish play. Good play, Hudson, to Cook. And now a much easier kick for goal than what Paul Hudson would have had.
That was good use of the ball. Even the first kick that ended up with Hudson could have gone to Cook. He was by himself there for quite a few seconds, being unmarked by the Carlton defence. Hudson, I would have suggested he would have had a quick look at the goals first, as all forwards generally do, but then in a most disciplined fashion, had another look, a second look on the inside, saw Cook and used it very, very well. This is a good switch. There's plenty of space out there, and that's where you'll often find it. You know, when you look to the opposite side of the ground, the uncrowded side of the ground, you usually find something.
So James Cook, slight angle, normally a good kick, and he's quite happy with that one. It's through the middle.
Well, if Cook can get onto the end of a few, I mean, we all are very much aware he knows this ground, having played a couple of seasons with Carlton and virtually unfulfilled seasons with Carlton, with all the potential that he crossed over from Tasmania with, as Drew pointed out earlier. He's got a real chance to do something here. During the final series last year, he showed to be very, very capable.
Porter doing particularly well at the centre bounces, but Hudson sharks it. Porter again. DiIulio, who's kicked a goal. High ball to centre half forward. Rowan Smith with courage. He took a knock for his trouble. Might have come up with a broken nose here. Fires out the hand pass. Cameron. Romero goes for a bit of distance to Grant. Well, Chris Grant has just been sensational. 5 marks in the opening 25 minutes. Hudson, sun in his eyes. Roving Rice. Loses it in the tackle. Johnson. Colin, what a great goal!
Well, Colonyuk gets his second, so on the scoreboard he's matched Stephen Silvani's 2 at the other end. But the thing about the Western Bulldogs is this real commitment just to keep the ball alive. Wherever it is, whether it's on ground level, whether you're getting tackled, you're always looking to keep it alive. And here it is here. Colonyuk, good work. Johnson tries to take a man, can't get, but Colonyuk up into the fray once again, offering a second target. Always involved, always busy.
And the Bulldogs have Brad Johnson deep in the forward line and Rowan Smith at half back, so that's an interesting switch. Here's Ratton. Look at the pressure. The Bulldogs are putting a Westies there. Crediot's in there also. And the umpire will come in and bounce it. But this is, well, they've really steadied the Bulldogs after being blitzed early too.
Yeah, I mean, Carlton got out to 20 points, and that was a very good lead at that stage. Just the move of Smith that you mentioned there, Poop, is that Rowan Smith uses the ball very well over 60, 65 metres. So if he's getting the footy in the middle of the ground here at Optus Oval, he's really pushing it on. And I think what you're pointing out, Kudafides now having gone on to Grant. So there's a double win for Terry Wallace.
And Michael Sexton was having all sorts of trouble with Grant. He couldn't keep with him. Here's West. It's a wobbly one. Grant playing in front. And Kudafides used his body well. Well played, Kuda. Centre wing. Ratton. Oh, too slow. And a good tackling. Terrific tackle. Is that Ramiro who tackled?
Libber.
It was Little Libber, was it?
The world's best tackler.
And a free kick too. It'll go to Ellis.
And Drew, I mean, that's not used flippantly, is it, the world's best tackle? I mean, no one's laid any more tackles in a season since 1999. Every year he wins it.
Wirra to Rowan Smith and a booming kick, a one-on-one.
That's
Johnson.
the kick we spoke about.
Bounce. And just wide. Oh, that 60-metre kick you were talking, he is a great kick.
That's right. And the other problem that David Parker now has, that's put Andrew McKay up into the forward line where he's not really a creative player.
Well, Carlton at one stage kicked 4 goals in a row. Now the Bulldogs have kicked the last 4. And a 6-point lead to the Bulldogs. Centre of the ground. DiMartina gets a bad bounce. Pretty hooked the hand pass back into a pack. And the umpire has no alternative.
Drew, you should have heard the noise when Libba got that free kick in the centre of the ground, and the Bulldogs here are just very, very vocal. It's a sensational atmosphere.
Fly, how's the heat? Is it quite warm there, the playing conditions?
Well, sitting in the sun here it is. I should have put the suntan cream on, but from the players' point of view, I think the comfort level is pretty much perfect, Wills.
Okay.
Allen has replaced Porter in the ruck, and DiMartina hits it at 100 miles an hour, and Rice takes a clever one-hander at centre half-back.
Dean Rice to centre wing. He's looking for Andrew McKay. Smith has got the pace. Ooh, he almost bounced that, but good play by McKay. Centres it. Oh, it drops short and marked by Ellis. It was a poor kick. Ellis has a bounce. And they back themselves in, these Bulldog players, to half-back, and the mark has been taken by Garlick. Back to Croft, the full-back. Runs away, drives to half-forward as the siren sounds to end Terry. A very entertaining first term. 6 points the margin. The Western Bulldogs in front.
Oh, hasn't it? I mean, we've had 9 goals scored, and the ball has moved very, very quickly from one end of the ground to the other. Some great transference of play. Then inside the contest has been some very tough physical work. All fair, all above board, but it has been a very entertaining opening quarter.
Well, I've never seen Libba move so fast as he did for that tackle. Not only did a Carlton bloke have the ball, but it was his direct opponent, it was Ratton. And didn't Libba rise to the challenge and mow him down? Oh, at quarter time here, it's the Bulldogs by a straight kick. They lead 5-2 to 4-2. Bulldogs skipper Scott Wind is on the ground for the first time, having spent the first quarter on the bench. And he goes in against Allen. Poor bounce by the umpire. Favoured Wind. Allen had no hope. Hogg pulled off the ball, and he'll take a free kick. Puts it out in front of Silvani. Croft closed the gap well. Ball gets to the back to Ellis. Oh, he's caught in a great tackle by Pearce. Wirra looking for the line. And that'll be a throw in on the 50.
Drew, just a quick reflection of the intensity on the ground. It's transferred into the Carlton Social Club.
Bradley. Skipper, a little bit underdone. Hasn't managed the pre-season that he was accustomed to for his entire career. Kutafides at half-back. Running Grant around. Hamill. And the Blues just setting up. Finding it hard to get free. Bulldogs are pretty good at picking up a man. Johnson gets in front of Whitnell and the ball out of play.
Yeah, just at this stage, Drew, why they're finding it hard to get free is that Scott Wine is dropping back to take with Whitnell. So Whitnell is double-teamed by Ellis and Wine. And then Darcy, who started in the forward pocket, is coming up the field and running with Allen. So there isn't a loose target. There's a double play at centre-half back on behalf of the Dogs.
Scott West a hand pass, and then little Hume tried to get away with the ball. Terrific smother and by Matthew Dent. And the players in modern-day football, they are really adept at the smothering. There's Wine with the left hand, putting it in front of Hudson. That was a beautiful hit out. We can't quite grab it before it rolls over the line.
Just mentioning smothering there, but we had a great one here last week. Dean Rice on Darren Jarman. Jarman was about to step out and do a very good shot at goal, but Rice just threw himself at it. It was a great example of smothering.
So again, a passage of play where a pack has developed and no one able to get clear with the ball. So another bounce.
This generally is the tougher of the two quarters after a free-flowing first. Both coaches try to tighten it up a little bit in the quarter-time break. The players starting to settle down more into their one-on-one task. And if you just look at that shot there on screen, there's a power of football muscle around there, isn't there?
So Ratton tried to get a quick little hand pass out.
Damien Locke.
And Damien Locke, yes, sir. No, he's not going to get it.
Back, yeah, Ratton at the back.
It's Ratton at the back. Young Locke thought he had it. Here's Whitnell, had played a good first term. Still in the field of play. Now it's over. Ellis back after suspension. He's a very good player. There he is. Craig Ellis last year playing mainly at centre half back. So again a throw in, this time up on half forward flank. Allen with a quick hand pass. Crashing his way through is Darcy. Darcy bending it back to centre wing. The players set themselves. Dean, no, it was Hamill in fact. Locke is there. The umpire's found a free kick. It'll go Carlton's way. And the Bulldogs crowd not too happy with this, and it'll go to Aaron Hamill.
Well, they sit 9 apiece the free kick, so the umpires have got it all square at this stage.
On his own is Allen. The kick and a half from goal. Silvani leads to the pocket, and he's got a break. Kick just a little bit too far for him, and it set it up for Croft to punch. Campriali, a centering kick over Sexton, who hasn't been able to see it today. Locke did well. Hand pass to Hogg, but the whistle's gone, and it'll be a Bulldogs free kick. Player held when not in possession.
Yeah, just Sexton going over the top there, Drew, as you call, not really being confident in his play today, just dragged the player down in that marking contest.
Hudson.
So beautiful kick by Dimatina to Hudson. Here's Ellis moving up the ground now. He chips it in to the half-forward line. Good play. He had a running player in Garlick. Garlick off. Brings it in low. A terrific kick to Cook and a good lead because he led right up the middle.
Well, the ruckman has a very difficult chance, the Carlton ruckman, of getting back and filling that hole up when the ball moves so quickly. And that's one of the qualities that Craig Ellis brings to the Western Bulldogs side, is that he is an attacking half-back and will run on down the ground. He instigated that one, and then the gap at centre half-forward was always going to be vacant there for James Cook to lead on into.
Well, he would have had plenty of shots for goal from this position when he was at Carlton, I would think. Had to kick it about 50 metres. He's a long kick. He's kicking for his second. As he lays back, drives a goal. It swings back right through the middle. So 2 goals to James Cook, and the Bulldogs move further in front.
Yep, they've now stepped out to 12 points after leading by just the solitary goal there at quarter time. So this one here, there's a real real emphasis in running the Bulldogs side just at the moment. Carlton haven't been able to get that, Fred. Craig Bradley, he's had a very quiet game to date. He's been well held there by Garlick at different times, and Johnson, just the 6 disposals to him.
Wind has a run at Allen. Now it's up to the smaller players. Koutafidis eventually picks up, kicks wide. Manton into Hume, short of full forward, and that's what Scotty Wine's there for, getting back to get in front of Silvani.
And
50-metre penalty as well. And you might get another one if Sauce doesn't get out of the way.
I think he tried to con Silvani there.
Now, Scotty Wine's got to be careful too, because really, if he initiates that clash, the umpire should stop it. In actual fact, he said no, and he's given it 100. They're going again.
Now, that is poor umpire.
That is. I thought Wind was the troublemaker in that little bit of play there, and so the umpire should have stopped it at that first physical clash between Wind and Silvani and said, sorry, Scott, you've lost the 50, you're only going to get this 20 that I've given you, but it's gone the other way.
Well, Scott Wind chips it in front of goal, hoping someone can fly and take a mark, and they can. It's Darcy. Too much height up there. Was that definitely a second 50, Terry, or was that the original 50, do you think?
Oh,
it was a long 50 anyway.
Long 50.
But on that point, Wills, what's stopping Scotty Wine running as fast as he wants? Because Silvani was there stopping him, and if Scotty Wine wants to get on with players fast as
Silvani was
possible,
running backwards,
but
Russell.
he's got to get out of his way, because Scotty Wine wanted to run as fast as he possibly could to move the ball on, so he's got to get out of his way. Simple as that.
Okay, be that as a... This is where the Dogs are going to stretch them, though, Russ, here. Now that you've got Darcy in the forward line and Wind on the ball, there's just not enough height in this Carlton defence to be able to counteract that.
So Luke Darcy from directly in front, a great asset to this side. He puts it through. So the Bulldogs starting to get on top here. They now lead by 3 goals.
So Wind dropping back to centre-half back is really going to be the problem for them. Took the mark here, the ball was knocked. 50-metre penalty applied. Here's Silvani going back as called. Bit of a clash there. The umpire continues to stay with them. Another clash, he's staying with them, still talking to them all the time. And there it is. There's the indication there that he gave that he was going for a second 50-metre penalty. I think umpire Greg Scroop was just a little bit quick on the trigger there.
Allen runs at Wine. Whoa! Solid clash by Hogg, but grabbed by Romero round the corner, and Chris Grant takes yet another mark. Taken 6 now. Well, aren't they tall up there? Here's James Cook.
Gee, the use of the ball, Terry, is fantastic at the moment. The Bulldogs.
It really is the trademark of the side under Terry Wallace. Just their ability to be able to use it well. Yeah, a style of play can be developed, Pete, but one of the things, you've got to have the cattle on the truck first. And you've got a bloke like Chris Grant who can play like this at centre-half forward, stepping out onto his left foot and going bang like that. Well, by gee, you've got something to work with, haven't you?
Have you ever seen a full forward, Drew, go back that far to kick for goal?
He's taken it back a long way. He's kicked 2 already. 52 metres from goal. What a kick.
So James Cook with 3. 1 in the first, 2 in this second. And Cook, this is his 45th game of senior football. And there's a little cluster of Western Bulldog players who are all approaching the 50 games. Luke Darcy, 49 today. Simon Garlick, 46. Craig Ellis, 47. And that 50-game mark really starts to give a little bit of experience. It's starting to show here today.
And there's a lot of players in AFL football who could watch Cook's run in as he's kicking for goal. He really balances himself and gives himself plenty of time to, as I say, the balance, settle down, and then drives hard through the ball. There's Allen to half forward though. Oh, good mark, Cameron. Brilliant mark, and the Blues badly need something to happen for them here.
There's no doubt. I mean, all Cameron did then was attack the ball. He was the one who wanted first, met it as early as possible.
Matthew Dent, another low trajectory
good
kick.
Grab. That's good.
Koutafidis.
Yeah, he's the man. He's got to do 2 things, Koutafidis. He's also got to contain Grant. Then he's got to be the catalyst for attack from half-back as well. Big ask at this stage.
Sexton to Hume, Whitnell at the back. Well played by Ellis, caught high. Should have been, might have been advantage paid there by the umpire. tapped on to West. Here they come again, the Bulldogs. West into the pocket. Cook shoved him out, his opponent, so it'll be a free kick to Peter Dean.
Cook not happy with the decision. The Bulldogs rampant at the moment. They were 3 goals behind. They've kicked the last 7 goals of the game.
50 metres for mouthing off, I'd say.
Look, now this is the flaw in James Cook's game. Yeah, technically, he's a very good player. He leads well, he kicks well, but he's just got to maintain the concentration on the game. You know, having a go at the umpire, abusing the umpire gives nothing to nobody, and it's only going to make the next 50-50 ball that comes to him probably go against him.
Dean's kick. Hamill couldn't mark it. Comes to the front to Romero. Grant in space. He's got his opponent right with him, and Koutafidis beats him. Maybe got a fortunate bounce. Kouta's done better than Sexton.
Oh, no, Aaron, no.
Hamill into a man who is in all sorts of trouble.
You've really got to create a little bit of space between yourself. You know, Carlton under the pump here now. If Aaron Hamill took the mark here and just get up off the ground first and then have a little quick assessment of what's going on around you. You know, understand the real estate around you first before you make the decision. He didn't know what was going on and fed into trouble.
Look at the forest of players around this ball up. There's no breathing space for the umpire. Wine, good hit out. Giulio. Oh, an excellent mark. Taken by Rowan Smith, getting in front of Whitnell, who was a problem.
Wrong bloke.
Silvani couldn't quite take the mark. Now they're desperate, the Bulldogs. It spills to Bradley. He's gone. Holding the ball.
He tried to beat the man.
Yep.
Once you do that...
Joe, I don't know where Rowan Smith was going. No idea. I mean, Silvani's very much like Jason Dunstall. They don't let the ball bounce in front of them. More often than not, they mark those low ones. The Dogs were very lucky.
Well, it was Dimartina receiving from Simon Garlick. Centre in Whitnell quite happy to take that over the line. So it's right on centre wing. Bulldogs, Western Bulldogs, right on top at this moment. They lead by 24 points.
Interesting thing is, Pete, the Carlton have had 88 disposals and the Bulldogs just 85.
But the Bulldogs' use of the ball, fantastic.
That is clearly the difference between the two sides. The Bulldogs are a bit straighter.
Out in the full liver trying to claim it. So it's coming back to Brett Ratton. Now, they need a couple of quick goals, the Blues. Wine getting back to lend a hand. Almost a free kick to Wine. Smith appealing for it now. Silvani off the ground. Here's a chance for Matthew Hogg. It's got to sit for him. He's also got support from Pearce. On the left, bends it over his shoulder. Wide, bounces. And that is not a good effort by the Blues there. Ooh. That was a wasted opportunity. Could have grabbed it and run right round onto the left.
I'm glad our cameramen are saving David Parkin's anguished face just at the moment, because I'm sure it's there.
Bradley trying to run straight through the pack to the goal square. And a chance for Hume. That rush through for a minor score.
It's a long road back for Brad Pearce, isn't it? You know, a couple of years ago when he was really a damaging player, and just been, knee injuries and leg injuries have really, held him back the last couple, but in his confidence, he's just not able to produce what he did back there in that stellar season.
Romero up towards centre wing. The kick dropped a bit short, and Clappe takes the mark for the Blues. They desperately need a goal. Bulldogs have killed them in the last 25 minutes of football. Comes off to Croft. He dodges, weaves, gets out of it. Michael Martin on the ground. He just replaced Hudson, and he marks just forward of halfback.
Well, it's hard to see where Carlton's goals are going to come from at the moment. Here's young Damien Locke racing after it with Chris Grant. A bit of experience against the young player there, but we've got Silvani down there. Croft is wearing him like a glove, and Wine's getting back, and also Darcy getting back there to lend a hand to their back players.
It's really dried up for them, and there's David Parkin, Barry Richardson on his left, Greg Williams behind, Cole Kinnear there also, and you can see they're not offering that much to the coach, David Parkin, just at the moment. What they've got out in the paddock is all they've got here for today. They're going to have to buy the goals, I think, now from the midfield. They've got to generate some run from half-back and through the centre of the ground. Bradley being held, still only just the 6 disposals to him. They've got to generate through here.
That was a brilliant hit out by Wine. Now, that's Ratton to Dean Rice off the side of the boot. Porter running back to the flight, couldn't grab it. Well played, Rice. clever hand pass, finds Sexton. Been a pretty quiet game so far. Well, a big punch away, but the Bulldogs are there. Dimatina playing brilliant football. He really is developing into a top player.
Great kick.
And listen to the hoots of Little Libba's got it. He's on centre wing, the Carlton. The Bulldog supporters love him. Oh, what's
that? That is great work.
Great kick, Libba, out in the direction of Hudson. Will it sit for him? Oh, he's got it inside. Caught. Quick hand pass. Back to Garlick. Garlick will run round. He's quick. The chip pass. Oh, good play. The use of the ball, fantastic. And Cook was marked.
Pete, my call for great call was back in the centre of the ground. Scott Wine provided the shepherd to allow the player to get out free. Totally illegal, about 50 metres off the ball, sat the Carlton player down.
Now, Porter has done some damage here to an arm. Luckily, they've got Allen. He looks...
it's Pearce,
It's Pearce, I should
the
say.
haircut again.
Has hurt his arm, and that is bad news. The ball had been passed across from Cook. Unselfish play to a man in a better position as Darcy, but that's not good news. He's been dogged with injuries, Pearce. He comes off and Fraser Brown on. And hopefully Russ Morris might find out what's the matter as the kick is through the middle. So 2 goals to Luke Darcy, and they are playing very, very good football, the Bulldogs.
Well, the 2 goals to Darcy have been in this second quarter, as have 2 to Cook. So, in essence, it's been the 2 tall players in that forward line that have made the difference. Here's the injury there to Pearce, just running into that contest. And the collision there with Leon Cameron across half-back. And so he's gone off with his right arm now being held. Weston Holt, 2 players right in amongst it, right throughout.
Bulldogs have kicked 4 goals in this quarter, and Carlton have managed just a point, which was rushed. Bradley, back to Rice. Kicked by Rice in the direction of Silvani. Croft didn't get it out. Silvani gets a boot to it, out in the forward pocket.
So in all that, Drew, I think Scott Wine's gone off for a blow. I can't see him out in the ground there now.
That's true, Wales, but also Brad Pearce has got his left shoulder. I think he's got like a kick in the shoulder. I'm not too sure whether it's an AC joint, but he looks quite distressed at the moment, so they're just checking him at the moment.
Whitnell in the ruck. Hogg playing for a free kick. Play on, says the umpire.
Well
Dimatina
called,
with
Drew,
the tackle.
well called. That's all he did do. He just played for that one.
West, round the boundary line, gets it outside the 50. And the whistle's gone, interference before the ball arrived, and the free kick to Jose Romero. At one stage, Carlton led 4 goals to 1. They now trail 4 goals to 9.
Yes, and that was good umpiring by Derek Humphrey-Smith a moment ago, not to fall for that free kick. Now, because there was none there as you called it, Drew. Ellis, in towards half-forward, Cook against Peter Dean. And did you think about moving Silvani down back, or is he their only option to kick goals? I'd just like him at full back, rather see him on Cook.
Yeah, fair enough. But then we just got to
they've got to get goal kickers.
And they're Pearce off. So maybe Camporella. He has kicked goals for them. He might be able to get down there. Could it? Yeah. He's definitely half-time. Half-time can't come quick enough for these blokes.
Here's Ratton. The ball's forced to the line. Good umpiring again to let that go. No ticky touch with free kicks there. They'll throw in about 20 metres around from the Bulldogs' goal.
What do we got? Just under 8 minutes of play left, and really for Carlton, the half-time break can't come quick enough, and the Bulldogs would probably want to keep playing.
Ramiro, socket off the ground. Now this is Dimatina mopping up. He's playing a great game, Dimatina. And brings it in front of goal. A pack develops. They've got some high markers up there, Danny Southern. Now Libba, can he get a goal? Tony Liberatore has kicked the behind. The crowd were ready to acclaim him, I think.
I mean, what a week for Libba it has been, you know, to go through what he's had to with the tribunal. He's playing his 199th game today, so a milestone for him next week. It's been a tough time, but what I give him credit, he's just out there, he's just playing the game, playing it solid and fair here today, not distracted at all.
And his opponent, Ratton's, had just 6 touches, and most judges had him best for Carlton last week, and that's way below his stats for a game.
Poor kick, wasn't it?
Dive by Ellis and a mark.
Yeah, 35 last week to Ratton. Drew, that's a lot of footy, isn't it?
So the stopper has gone on and just dried him right up, Libba. West. And after being in all that trouble, he turned around and was able to find a man in space, Dent, at half-back. He dashes away from Hamill on the mark. Kick by Dent to half-forward. Danny Southern's on the ground for the first time. Chris Grant takes his 7th mark. Cook leads from the goal square. Grant goes for a torp. He tried to make the distance from the centre of the ground nearly, and that's out of bounds in front of the Social Club.
James Cook providing a good option up there. He's kicked 3 and given a couple away. He's probably been responsible for about 6 goals, Cook. Now, Allen. Now, there was some holding going on. The umpire has spotted
Great
something.
decision. Great decision. That's the first time I've ever seen
throw-in.
that. He's asked him
Yes.
to re-throw it in.
Yep.
I thought it only happened in under 12s when the little kid couldn't quite get in. You bring him in a few more metres. Great decision, umpire Scroop.
I agree with you there, Terry, because it didn't reach the ruckman. Here's Martin on the ground, bending it back. Cook couldn't grab it. Now, Diulio, he can run 100 metres. Oh, nearly lost it. Will he go again? We could have. He elects to drive it long, and he kicked it to no one. So that is very, very poor play, Ronnie Diulio. Well, he did kick it to someone, in fact, Cameron. Back it comes, Danny Southern. Bounces off his chest. Thumped away by Dean. Finds Diulio.
That's a bit better.
That's much better to Hogg.
I'll tell you, the field umpires put the pressure on that boundary umpire in front of the George Harris stand. He's in for a torrid afternoon now. Up to the 50. Crash down they go. There's no whistle on the play. Chance for Carlton at the back. Hamill overruns it. Dent. I think he was waiting for a whistle. Hamill again. Play on, says the umpire. Fraser Brown to the edge of the square. Well, just as Mannon was about to mark, it was knocked away from him.
It's a tough call for the umpires with Steve Silvani, because you never know. I mean, he just throws himself into the contest that often that you don't know whether he's propelled himself into the contest or someone's giving him a push or a shove. The crowd will always suggest he's been pushed or shoved.
And somehow Johnson got it out of there. High ball to the centre of the ground. Bounces on its point for Hudson. Ellis, he's lost it.
Now they're off and running. The short pass comes down from Ratton. Whitnell. Rice from 45 metres. Dean Rice goes bang. They need it. I think he's got it. He has. So a badly needed goal to Carlton.
Well,
they still trail by 4 goals.
They do. So I mean, they're not right out of it, the 4 goals, but to think that between their 4th goal and now this one, their 5th one, Western Bulldogs have kicked 8 goals. That's a fair run on. But it's only a 4-goal game at this stage, and we're just under 5 minutes to half-time. I mean, if Carlton were able to scrounge one here, they're right in it at half-time without any doubt at all, because it's only going to get tougher physically, I think.
Long time between Carlton's 4th and 5th goal. Darcy wins in the middle. Martin dashes out of the centre. Sexton didn't go hard at that ball. Here's McKay. What's happening to the Carlton defenders? Sexton and McKay have just been tops in the competition. Hudson, all Bulldogs here. In the goal square. Oh, it got to the post before Grant could get his boot to it.
Yeah, uncharacteristic fumbles there, aren't they, Drew? I mean, those 2 players in particular. Michael Sexton, he's playing his 150th game today, so he'd certainly want to do well collectively with the team and then individually.
Budafidi to the centre of the ground. Well, that's a good mark, running hard at the ball by Hume. Here's Bradley.
Yeah, this is their best build-up for a while, this one.
Now, they need Whitnell to mark and kick a goal. He can go over the top of the hand pass. Here's a goal coming up. Silvani. Oh, he's got it.
Good on you. Well done.
Oh, they needed it, but they're back in this game, the Blues. 3 goals to Steve Silvani.
Very good. Silvani wanting to get a second shot at goal here, but it's not going to be there. That definitely was Carlton's best bit of play. Bradley got a little bit of space, a little bit of freedom in the middle of the ground. Whitnell somehow slipped away from Ellis. Ellis had dropped in concentration there, and then Croft had to come out. So we can just see it here in replay. Now that we've got them, they've got it down to just now what? What's the difference now? 20?
19.
19. So 3 goals is the difference. This one's starting to cook up now, this game. They're coming back, the Blues.
And still nearly 4 minutes to half-time. Carlton have kicked the last couple. Brown rips his way out of there. But the umpire's whistle just sounded. The split second Brown found his way clear. And the umpire will ball it up. Once again, a heap of players around this ball up. Allen to Brown, great hands to Rice. Good pass. Oh, White couldn't take the mark. Wirra for the Bulldogs to Johnson, West. And all the Carlton players had gone forward. Now it exposes them at the back. Kick by West. Not quite, couldn't take the mark. Clape's hand pass on the bounce. Gee, they get out of it just somehow. Koutafidis, not a great hand pass at the feet of Bradley. He's lost it. Garlick, well done, son. Across the 50 to Martin. Martin puts it up high. Here's Grant.
Oh. Whose handball was it there? Just at the feet? Yep. And Bradley just couldn't take it down there that low. They were out. They just needed that one to hit the spot and they were away.
And they dropped the mark down forward too.
Yep.
That could have resulted in a goal, so you can't afford to do it.
And so while that play was pushing forward, Grant was just sitting back there.
8 marks he's taken, and we're 3 minutes short of half-time. What a game.
We got the 3 votes last year too. Could be well on target for him again.
Easy shot for goal. Grant gets his first. And after Carlton had kicked a couple, the Bulldogs hit back again.
Well, you can't underestimate the value of Chris Grant. Last week up in Brisbane, some 23 possessions, 8 marks, but didn't get a goal. And here now just his only goal here this afternoon has been this one, so 1 out of a game and a half. But yeah, Martin's kick there was a very well-disciplined kick. I think the players have got to be able to assess how far they can kick the ball. When you're out of range, you go to the top of the square.
Well, a number of times today that they've bent it back from the boundary line to put a player in a better position, the Bulldog players. That's Bradley to Hume. He can give it off also. He said, oh, McKay runs into a brick wall. And again, they muck it up forward as Dimatina bends it back towards the halfback area. Martin is a greatly improved player, has taken this mark. Off he goes, drives it wide to a one-on-one contest. Grant again using his body. Oh, look at the pick up by West, brilliant. In towards the pocket, Cook, half mark. Well played, Dean, too high, free kick to Peter Dean. Whoops, could be 50, Steve, if you're not careful.
Well, the back 6 for Carlton over the last lot of years has been such an impregnable force. And the umpire having stern words here with Peter Dean, who had to take out the mouth guard to make sure the umpire understood what he was saying.
Hasn't he been a great player for a long time for the Blues, Dean?
15 years is a long time at this level.
Brown's kick to centre wing. And the aerial ability of the Bulldogs, fantastic. And Ellis has taken this mark, although it's going to be a free kick. Before the mark was taken, and now quickly taken by Johnson. On his own is Martin. He sets up again. Cook should have taken the mark. At the back, Sexton. Come on, Michael.
Oh.
And he's given it straight up to the opposition.
Yes, Carlton's use of the ball has been nowhere near as good as the Bulldogs. Good play by
Danny
Cameron.
Southern out here.
Dimatina at the Southern. Now, will he play on? No, I think he'll go back and have a set shot. And he loves having a shot for goal.
He sees himself as a forward now. 3 last week, so why not have another ping at him this week? But I mean, he was just camped out there for yonks by himself. I mean, while this play was drifting across here, he was out there all the time, and Dimatina finally picks him out.
Paul Dimatina has been fantastic, and he's had 12 kicks and taken 3 marks and 1 handball. So, an outstanding game again by Dimmer. Here's Danny Southern about 2 well, that is how, if any young kid's watching, James Cook does it the right way and Danny does it the wrong way. He took, I reckon, 2 steps before he kicked that ball.
Yeah, you have to develop the momentum in your approach so that you are balanced. When you do those 2 steps, you're always going to be leaning back and you're going to lose accuracy.
Sexton. And I was just about to say how the back 6 for Carlton have been impregnable for years. And Now there's Sexton, who's missed targets twice in a row. He's had the fumbles today. It just doesn't look like it. And I don't know whether, if you take Silvani up to full forward, whether you ruin the back six. I know they need a goal kicker, but what's it done to the back half?
I mean, it's a tough time, though, for Carlton through this sort of post-Kernahan and Williams period. I mean, with Kernahan out of that forward line, they've got to find something somewhere.
Hudson. Dimatina again. Races in the goal. It's another one. Again, great use of the ball by the Bulldogs.
Well, he is really having a game and a half, is Dimatina, right in amongst it. It's 13 kicks he's had. He's been right in it, kicking this goal here now. So ironically, I think the Brownlow medal votes last year went 3 to Grant and 2 to Dimatina and 1 to Smith. Geez, if you're doing it now, you really got the 3 and 2 tied up with Grant and Dimatina already.
And isn't Paul Hudson a better player when he's giving it off to a better options?
He's a new player to me. Yep. He's been very, very good, much more disciplined.
Back in the middle in the last minute of the first half. West, best and fairest last year. Dimatina, awkward bounce. Oh, but he does it beautifully. Colin kicks another one. Will you pick this, Pete? Dimatina is not only kicking them, but setting them up.
Holy heck. Holy heck. I mean, what is it that the Carlton can come up with here now? I mean, they're just losing all the one-on-one matchups all around the ground. I can't find a winner for Carlton. The closest, I think, Ratton's being well held, but Liberatore's not getting off him. Carlton haven't got a winner. They've just got to pull something out of the hat here at half-time, and it's been a demoralising last 5 minutes of the quarter.
They've kicked 7 goals, 3 in this quarter to Carlton, who have managed just 2 goals, 1. Blues go forward. They might run out of time. 10 seconds left before the siren at half-time. Soccer away by Ellis. Well judged. Ball out of play. What irresistible football the Bulldogs are playing. Dominating in the air. Chris Grant's taken 8 marks. Cook's taken 6 and should have taken a few more. Brown bursts through the pack. There might be time for another goal. That was in the air before the siren, so that's no score because Croft got there to punch it behind. And a first half of football by the Bulldogs, which has run the Blues ragged here at Optus Oval. Spectacular to watch as the Bulldogs have run out to a handsome 38-point lead, 12-5, 77 to 6-3, 39. The start of the second half, 38-point lead to the Bulldogs. And Porter beaten in the ruck by Darcy as once again the 2 young guns go on the ball. And a hurried kick up to Koliniuk has found himself in space. He thought about giving it off, but he looks at the man on the mark who's 40 metres out. And Steve Koliniuk probably gives himself a big chance. He's kicked 3 already. What a way to start the second half. Oh, on the line. A mark to Cook.
Well, there's another example of the Carlton defence. Michael Sexton was just standing off that spectator unit from 5 metres away when the contest was always going to be on the line and was nowhere near it.
Now this angle will be interesting, Terry.
Well, he can kick the goal or whatever he gets. I'm just more
bad.
concerned about the Carlton defence and the way in which they've come out. They're just totally shell-shocked, the Blues, here at the moment.
Look where he's going to be taken. He's trying to creep around.
Was it almost like the Carlton blokes thought, well, he'll get this distance and we don't have to get back there and defend.
Up. You know,
I think that's exactly what happened. They thought it'd go through by 10 metres and it dropped short.
Well, you never assume. You saw it earlier at the boundary line with Leon Cameron. You don't do it.
Cook for his 4, and he gets it. Well, Carlton not only needed the first, but probably about the first 3.
And that, I mean, there's a real slap in the face for Carlton. If when they sit down with David Parkin and replay this game, they're going to have a hard look at this. That even the Footscray players, the Western Bulldog players after this goal are just in shock. disbelief that the defence would allow them to pick up a goal that easily.
So that is just what Carlton did not want to start this third term. Now, the bounce favours Porter. Here's West. It's a wobbly ball up towards centre wing and well judged. Brad Johnson. And they certainly have got a lot of talent in this Bulldogs side now. Players running around across half-court. He'll probably go for Grant, who's one out at the back. Now, Grant will, now that he's got to beat two players, but he gets in front and almost took the mark. Quick hand pass. Comes out to Hudson. Here's West, a chip pass. Very, very good play. Luke Darcy from a standing shot. Bends it up into the square. Should be a mark. It is. Cook. Well, I'd be getting Silvani down to full back. I think they've just got to bite the bullet. Cook is now going to kick his fifth, probably.
You know what? If he kicks his fifth, the Dogs have kicked 2 goals and Carlton have not touched the ball since the start of the second half. They haven't touched it.
So James Cook, this will give him a lot of confidence with the upcoming weeks ahead, and in this side you'd want to be playing full forward because their use of the ball from upfield is fantastic. James Cook for goal number 5. He's got it.
Well, part of my role, as I understand it here with the 7 commentary team, is to put myself into the coach's box and into the coach's chair. And it's just a heck of a one here for David Parker at the moment. I mean, Terry Wallace, he can be sitting back feeling very pleased. He can be still on edge and making sure everyone works it right to the nth degree. But the coach, you would suggest, has given it his best shot at half-time. And if there was to be any response from the side, it would be in those initial moments when they come out to start the second half. David, mate, they haven't touched the nut.
Here we go again in the centre. And the ball comes underfoot to Liberatore. And that'll be a ball up. 50 points.
Well, Wills makes a good point there because Carlton have always had a reputation of playing well in that premiership third quarter.
And I'd go with you, Pete McKenna, yeah, got to do something with Silvani now. I'd throw him on the ball or somewhere.
Not that he hasn't done the job.
No, but just there needs to be a catalyst or spark here for the Carlton from somebody.
Colin Uke to West, and uncontested again on the forward line. Dimatina pops it short. Well, he could have kicked it himself, and now Romero is right in front.
That's almost embarrassing now.
This looks now like the last 5 minutes of a game that a side is controlling by 15 goals, and they're just going to play it out, a little bit of keepings off to themselves.
Well, Romero's not on the scoreboard yet. Well, he is. He kicked a point, but he hasn't kicked a goal. Fancy Dimatina giving it off with a pass that barely went 10 metres when he was only 35 out.
That's exactly right.
He's been a good pickup for the Dogs, though, hasn't he, Romero? Tough out from North Melbourne. Tough in the centre. And that final series last year, that whole shoulder injury and everything that went with that, very hard young man.
And Romero kicks their third to start the second half. This could be an embarrassment yet. It could be a percentage booster for the Dogs.
Well, they've come in sitting on top of the ladder. The way things have gone this weekend leading up to this game, you wouldn't think at this stage they're going to be displaced. What's great from what Terry Wallace has done, he's really kept the hunger going over the summer period. They've dropped nothing from last year's preliminary final game.
Well, they got out before this game and they trained for about 20 minutes doing a warm-up out on the ground, and they came out. Well, actually, Carlton were on top early in the match, but this is a very fit side and a very talented side. I can remember in previous years seeing Jose doing laps of the ground during the reserves game before the main game.
So now what David Parker did at half, the one structural change he made, Matty Allen has gone into the forward pocket looking to stretch the Bulldog defence. Terry Wallace has countered that by bringing Scott Wind out to stand him in the back pocket.
Well, that was Liberatore. Oh, Grant cleverly done out to Colinook. Well, he might have been pushed in the back, but it's grabbed by Johnson. Johnson into the pocket. Here comes Jose Romero. Now, will he centre it or have a shot? He pulls it across to Hudson, who should mark. Yes, I think I think it's a Bulldogs mark. I think it'll go to Hudson. It is. And again, I think that was a deliberate pass by Hudson. Not that he's in on a better angle, Terry.
Yeah, the kick from Romero probably travelled at 15 metres too far, further than what you'd want, and he's ended up on this angle. But the way in which they're playing, Hudson will kick this. They've all got to be feeling just so confident at the moment.
He might run out to the right and open up the goals. No, he's having the set shot.
There it
It's
goes.
hard. He's happy. I'm not convinced this is the goal. He might have... No, he's got it. Well, Paul Hudson thought he kicked it, but there was hardly a murmur in the crowd. I don't think anyone knew, but the goal umpire has paid it, and they career on their way, the Bulldogs.
Well, they've already ticked over the 100 points. That's 101 up now, 16 goals, 5. And that's one of the things that have improved with the Western Bulldogs over the last couple of years. It's been their goal-scoring power. In 96, they only averaged 75 points a game. Last year, they got up to 96. Now in both games, they've cleared 100, and they've cleared pretty easy here.
4 goals in 7 minutes to start the second half. Porter's winning the tap, but the Bulldogs are getting the ball. West, a punch by DiIulio, straight into the path of Martin. Martin, a beautiful pass to Grant. Oh, he had it spent before he got it. Unusual, Chris Grant.
Drew to add to Carlton's woes. Brad Pearce is sitting on the bench, won't play probably for the rest of the game. He's got a bit of nerve damage in his shoulder, got a heavy knock and some tingling down his arm. So more bad news for the Blues.
And Glenn Manton was limping. Off the ground, Romero to the forward pocket. Oh, Clappe, too fast. Dean was only a metre or two away. Throw in, forward pocket for the Dogs.
Well, it's looking like an awful thrashing coming up here for the Blues. 62 points, and there's still 15 minutes left in this third term. Let's hope the Blues can do something. But Dimartino appealing for a free kick. Silvani's in defence now. And, well, they had to eventually do it. It wasn't getting up to Silvani. Bradley. Fraser Brown, 2 of the experienced players. Brown not sure what to do with it. He didn't have an option. The Bulldogs players getting back here in defence. Grabbed by Michael Martin. Oh, he did that easily. A dangerous hand pass. Cameron. Back to Martin. But I think the ball might have crossed the line out here on the wing. And that's exactly what happened. A throw in.
Pete, for a moment there, Matty Allen was the only man forward of the centre for Carlton. And now Peter Dean has drifted down there to go to the attacking goal square.
So almost at half forward for the Blues, but it's an infringement in the ruck. Luke Darcy to take it. And this is where they're dangerous. If they get a loose man going from here, they really run this ball, the Bulldogs. Extremely well coached, well drilled. And they're looking a good side. Grant flies. He was brilliant in the first half of pushing the back. Will go the way of Matty Allen.
De Niro up, holding that left shoulder of his.
Sexton takes the free across the half-back line. DiIulio. Here's a lead by Allen. Wind has come on the ground to mark him. Allen, a good mark. Well, he started in the goal square, and now he's back in the centre square. Bradley. Yes, plenty of Carlton players here, and Porter takes the mark. McKay's become a forward as well. He offered a lead. Oh, Porter's gone for the distance and kicked it. That is some goal. That's had to have travelled about 65 metres.
That was a very good kick, and it's great to see. I mean, that'll do his personal confidence a great degree of good, I would suggest. A young player who Carlton really are looking to build this next generation around. 199 centimetres, so a fair lump of a boy.
Yes, and in the first term, he got nearly every hit out with that height and also with a leap. So he's a very athletic young fella. 16-5, plays 7-3. See if the Blues can do a couple of quick goals to resurrect something. Hudson was there. Now Fraser Brown, free kick, Bulldogs' way. And it's Hudson, who's become a very good team player. He drives it wide. Collinhook is there. It's a loose ball with Bradley. Collinhook's after him. Bradley forced to go to the line. And a bit of throw in, about 40 metres around for the Western Bulldogs goal.
Incidentally, that was only Porter's 3rd goal in his AFL career. If he kicks many more like that, well, there'll be plenty more to come. Goes up and ruck and wins, but they're not winning around the packs. Well, that's a high tackle. And Collinhook will take the free. everything going the Bulldogs' way. But you look for something to come from Carlton around the packs. It's just not happening. Grant, he led Kutafides a merry dance.
Yeah, and that's a piece that young Porter really has to learn too, that this hole here that Grant leads into, Porter's the man responsible for blocking it up, whether he does it himself physically as the big ruckman, getting back, or allocating someone else to go in there. He has to take control of that. The reason he wasn't there was he was caught between marking Luke Darcy, his direct opponent, or filling the hole. Really, block it. That's the most important spot to be.
They've had 8 different goal kickers. Grant has kicked one, lining up for his second. Should get this. 35 metres out. Here's another one. And the bloke who's operating the woof, woof, woofs, he's working overtime.
62 points is a big call now. The Western Bulldogs just continue to control in around the middle. Darcy's doing well in the run. I mean, Porter's not being disgraced, but it's just that vigour at the ground level that gets the Dogs away.
So Darcy, Porter, well, not a decisive hit out. Hudson in there, grabbed by Ramiro. Oh, Dimatina brilliantly at 35-metre punch. Collinlook working overtime after Sexton. Pressure by the Bulldogs. A tackling numbers. Dielio appealing for a free kick. The umpire were coming in bounds. The umpiring has been pretty good.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, Peter. I mean, it's been pretty tough and close in tight, and they've had to make some good calls and then make the decision often of allowing the play to go on. I think the three of them have umpired quite well.
So again, it's Porter. It's a poor bounce taken by Camporelli towards the half-forward line. Oh, mark taken by Cameron.
Used to be a silky smooth wingman and now making his name in defence. Brilliant mark. Smith takes it from Johnson. Kicked by Smith, a wobbler. Ramiro is held when he hasn't got the ball. Advantage will go to West. West runs inside 50, has plenty of time to line it up. Oh, what a pass. Oh.
Well, and give it back to him, thanks.
Oh,
no. I mean, Wesley played a bit of basketball as a kid, so it might be the old 1-2 in there. Yeah, the Scotty West running in onto that, I don't think he has that great degree of comfort or confidence in that left foot hard up against the line like he was. So he just dropped it in there to Grant when the option was there, and then just so casually was able and allowed to run on just to present himself again to receive it back from Grant.
Yeah, it's just another wonderful day for Scott West. 17 possessions. Gets his first goal for the day. And I reckon David Parkin, there's more to it than just making backs into forwards and vice versa. They've got to get the ball around packs.
Yep.
Ratton, Brown,
yep.
White, blokes like this, you could add up their possessions, and between about 6 of them, they wouldn't get to 20.
Yeah, look, the tough part for a coach is that 90% of his work is done during the week. And so, you know, all the responsibility lies with the players. He hasn't got them going, he hasn't got anything. But at the moment, the players haven't been able to get themselves up at all.
Here's Dimatina again playing a blinder to the half-forward line. Good mark taken down here by Dean Rice. But Terry Wallace has got this Bulldog side, a well-oiled machine, and the impressive part is their unselfishness. They're prepared to centre the ball from boundary line areas, set up the easier path for goal, and got team rules, and they stick to it.
Now, what's going on here is that umpire Greg's group paid the mark, but then it was overruled by umpire Grant Burns saying it was touched off the boot. So now they've had to come back and they're playing the touched off the boot.
And that's probably what he is saying, Greg's group. And
now they're all happy. Well, I don't know if anyone's happy. Gee.
Well, the man in white is always right. He wins out in the long run. So the bounce, 40 metres.
Look at that, just to the right-hand side. All the pushing and shoving like a school of sharks around this footy.
There's Hume onto Hogg. Camporelli on the left, the chip pass, but they're under pressure. Whitnell has gone out of the game. Here's Rowan Smith bursting through, gives it off to Ramiro. He's coming straight to Andrew McKay. The quick kick lands in the arms of Cameron. Here's danger because it's kicked wide and Darcy's on his own. He can run 50 if he wants to.
Nobody within cooey of him. It's a long-distance phone call. Pass on the bounce to Cook, who gets rid of Silvani. Has to double back.
Just on that point, Macca, look, just watching the Carlton players chase the Bulldogs players, then it just doesn't look like 100% commitment.
Dean into Porter. Here's Allen with Wine. Wine let it get behind him, but he's going to win a possession anyway, and have plenty of time to choose who to give it to. And eventually it was with the opposition. McKay to Brown, and Brown's given it straight back. Well, Fraser Brown's had 9 possessions. Ratton's had 7. Clappe's had 2. White's had 1. Locke's had 1. And the Bulldogs are just running amok. Liberatore with Ratton. What a job he's done on Brett Ratton. That ball's out of bounds for a throw-in. And I don't think there's anything untoward about what Lib has done here today, but Ratton's had 5 kicks and 2 handballs, and it's just been totally obliterated.
And each kick he's had too, Brett Ratton, has been under extreme pressure as well. So Lib has done his job. Porter and Grant. Grant cleverly over the back in the path of Libba. Whoa, he nearly got steamrolled by Kutafides coming through. But the Bulldogs working hard in the packs. It's knocked wide. They're still going. That's Grant. Brought the ground, and the umpire will. I think that's the right decision by Grant Vernon to bounce it.
Bulldogs so unlucky last year not to have played in the grand final. Led all day and were beaten virtually on the last kick in the preliminary final by the Crows, who then went on to win the flag. And I think even as early as round 2 this year, you can see there's plenty of desperation to make up for that slip. Wirra, the kick towards the 50. Even the bouncers are favouring the Bulldogs today. Grant taken to the ground, and the ball run out.
It's amazing how the bounce goes your way when you're playing well. Well, the ball used to bounce Peter Hudson's way all the time, mainly because he was a great player.
And I think of what it is, you just don't have that moment of hesitation when you approach the ball. When you're feeling comfortable and confident, you just charge at it.
So Grant to Liberatore, and there's Steve Solmani, who was voted the fullback of the century in probably his best position. Although he kicked 3 goals up forward, he didn't let them down. This is Michael Sexton with their shoulder heavily taped. Allen, back to Locke. Locke to half forward. Beautiful kick by this young player, and he finds Fraser Brown. Now let's hope for the Blues' sake something can happen. There's no one back in the square. Whitnell's running back now. Oh, Bulldogs with numbers. Well done, Matthew Croft. He couldn't quite hang on to it. Grabbed by Lance Whitnell, bends it back, and I think he's kicked a goal. He has. Now, Whitnell's kick too. Bad luck to Croft. He put his body in and showed courage, but it spilled free.
Yeah, he was on the way back, but I think that Whitnell was always in the best position for it without any doubt at all. Croft had the opportunity there, not clean enough, but good work from Whitnell just to be able to gather there and swing around on the right foot, sliding it through. That's a good snapshot at goal.
Fraser Brown interchanged. Hamill back on for the Blues. Centre breaks in this quarter, 8-0. Absolutely killing them out of the middle after not necessarily getting their hands on it first. Porter once again wins, but will Carlton get it out? This time they will. Hamill's hand pass to DiIulio. That's their first break for the 3rd quarter, and we've been playing nearly 21 minutes. Allen. Kick by Allen right to the goal square with plenty of distance on it, and a mark right in the square. And had that been shepherded through, it might have gone through for a goal, but Michael Sexton, who struggled all day on the back line, should kick a goal.
Well, obviously David Parker's just throwing everything around.
Simple for Sexton.
So he picks up one in his 150th game. I mean, it's been a very dirty day for Michael today, but a career of 150 games and twice All-Australian, once in the back pocket in 1996 and then at centre-half back in 97. So he's no slouch, but today he and his teammates really have been outclassed just by the pace of the ball and the way the Bulldogs have moved the ball into their forward line. The Carlton defence really has been on the back foot all day.
56 points the Bulldogs lead by. And they're trying to get it out of the centre for the umpteenth time in this term. And about 8-1 so far.
So this is a danger period here. We're just in under the 7-minute mark of the quarter to go. With 7 minutes to go in the first quarter, Western Bulldogs kicked 4 goals. And then with 3 minutes to go in the second quarter, the Dogs kicked the last 3 goals. So they've, in both quarters, been very strong finishes in the quarter.
So a quick kick was by Hume down towards the half-forward line. McKay looking for Hogg. Hogg to Camporelli. They might lose it here. West, brilliantly done to Martin, who's a very quick player. He's some good shepherding, allows Martin to run further on. He drives it long in front of Garlick, who's very quick. Oh, he drops the mark, but he's got pace. Look at that. That's the recovery. That's pace. The Flyers at the back. The ball hits the deck. Grant is loitering there. Over the back to Smith. He's got pace too. He races in Rowan Smith. And it might be another one. Yes. Oh, that's team play. And the Carlton player down. Just good, solid, hard teamwork.
Good wraps for Garlick then to recover.
Yeah, very good work, wasn't it? And then the one prior to that, this run from Martin's great. The shepherd there was... Martin's been really in amongst it. Started off on the bench. He's had some 9 disposal, but look at this. A clean pickup and then all in one movement, nearly the next single step. He's guided the ball down onto his left foot, kicked it in properly. Smith on the end of it picks up his second.
Well, they've kicked 7 goals to 3 in this quarter, the Bulldogs. Romero, another centre break for the Dogs. Inside half forward. Curley. Oh, eventually it was well done, well defended by the Blues. Kutafides out of defence. Comes to Sexton. Sexton drives it long to Allen. There's been a problem for Wine down there, 1-out situation this quarter. It spills to Hogg. Hogg has to go for goal because there's nobody forward for the Blues, and he's kicked it out of bounds on the full.
Well, they're going to have to do something about that forward line in coming weeks. Mind you, the ball's been going the other end most of the day. Oh, well played, Whitnall. A chance for another one for his third. A brilliant snap. Bad luck for the young fella. He just missed. That's Whitnall. His dad played with the Blues. He was a very, very good wingman. Graham Whitnall, and half-forward flanker. And had the red hair just like his son.
Well, if his son hadn't turned up with red hair, there'd have been an inquiry. Cameron's kick, and Allen chips in to take the mark. He's been okay on the forward line. Away to Porter, so the two big fellas sharing it. And Porter's given it straight up to Darcy, who gets back to exactly where he should be to take the defensive mark. And now watch them rebound. Brad Johnston tucks it under the arm and away he goes. He's got Grant at half forward. Here it comes. But kick disappointing, far too wide.
He just squeezed up a little bit too close to the Carlton player, bearing down on him, and then pulled the kick. It's a couple of times Brad Johnson's probably carried the ball 4 or 5 metres too far, therefore wasn't balanced on his delivery stride.
Wind and Porter. Camporelli receives from Bradley, and Ratton gets it across to Sexton. Here's Whitnall, almost threw that one away. I think he did throw it. But the Bulldog supporters thought so. That's Locke up in the air to the half-forward line. Hudson flies, couldn't take it. Well, they're working hard in close. Matty Hogg is there. Hume. Now Diulio, good kick, good thinking, good lead. And it should be a goal coming up for the Blues to Allen.
Well, he hasn't kicked any scores yet, Allen, but he's certainly had plenty of the ball in the last 15 minutes on the forward line.
Yeah, it's been, well, Parkin's move to put him there was very good. He had to have a go at that. I've been quite impressed with the way Scott Wine's gone about it. He's not agile down there, Wine. He's always going to get the run around from Allen.
Matthew Allen is a good kick, and he has kicked a goal. So Matthew Allen's first, and belated cheering there from the Blues supporters. They've moved on to 10-4, but the Western Bulldogs 19-5.
Yeah, if Matthew Allen can develop, he will need to develop that into his game this year because of the addition of Mark Porter to the Carlton list. And Porter will be given, I suggest, a lot of time on the ball to develop as a ruckman. Matthew Allen needs to ensure that he's got this part of his game, the forward pocket, marking option, goal scoring option, as a strong part of his repertoire.
Still 4 minutes left in this third quarter. Neither ruckman as Wind has come onto the ball. Darcy's gone back from all fours. Diulio out of the centre circle. Good pick up, Prop. Diulio again. And a great pass to Hamill. Well, Carlton have managed 4 goals in the term. Hamill goes for distance. An open goal square. It bounces on and gets there.
Well, they've kicked 3 of the last 4 goals in the game. I don't know what to make of that just at this stage with 3.5 minutes of play left in the quarter. I just sense that the Western Bulldogs have eased off just a little bit here. Carlton have taken hold of that opportunity and they've won some good ball out of the centre bounce. That's where it all starts without doubt on this small ground.
So the Blues supporters are a bit happy in this last couple of minutes. Porter gets it again, but straight to Liberatore down for Grant. Oh, he plucked it out of the air. Well played, Chris Grant. Bends it back towards the pocket. The bounce important here. Dean Rice runs hard at the ball and sensibly knocks it over, and he'll get a push in the back decision here. It's going the way of...
Oh, no, umpire?
I thought that should have been the other way. Unless there was some... I don't think he paid deliberate. I thought the umpire was...
No, he paid a push in the back.
Pushing.
He's given it the wrong way, surely.
That's... Oh, there it is.
No.
That's in the back there. I thought originally it could have gone to Rice, but anyway, it's Curley with this ball right on the boundary line. Listen to the hoots.
That's something for Rowan Saws during the week.
So Todd Curley from just inside the boundary line, across the face, and Grant flies, but I think this is a behind. It is. I think Rice felt he should have got the original one. He punched it towards the line.
I think the free kick, the initial free kick was there. It was missed by the umpire, and then Dean Rice endeavours to get the ball.
Yep.
Yeah, he did go over the top of Curley. Perhaps a little bit technical there on the umpire's behalf after missing that first one.
Dimartina, a spectacular game. Pretiuk lost it. In the path of Bradley. He's taken the ground when he didn't have it. Play on, says the umpire. No free kick against Dimartina. Hurriedly up the ground from Garlick to Hudson. Good discipline, a centering kick. Grant in the goal square and Southern, but there's lots of pushing. But prior to that, I think the ball's gone out of bounds. Well, it's 50 points the margin, and the crowd's really getting involved in the umpiring. They're booing and hooting.
So it's way out here at half forward. 19-6 the Western Bulldogs, 11-4 the Blues. Their last 5 minutes, Carlton has been a lot better. Kicked away by Clappe. That's a mark. Diulio. All of a sudden they're starting to get a bit of the ball and use it better. This is Camporelli. He's dangerous, but it comes off to the little fella there in Hume. He's wanting to play on because he spotted someone. It's Sexton in the centre of the ground. Now he can give it off to Silvani, but he's on his wrong foot. So Sexton elects to bring it in towards half-forward. Ellis sets himself. Can't quite hang on to the mark. Oh, he ends up with the ball though, Craig Ellis. He comes through centre half-back. He's going to deviate with a hand pass out wide. Martin, West. Oh, dummies beautifully. Gee, that's good football. And they got in each other's way, the two Bulldogs. Ramiro though. Pretiuk. Further afield, he's got his teammate running in, Danny Southern. Southern from 45 metres, kicks it, goal! Oh, you'll love this! And so do the supporters. And Dean Rice not happy, but Danny Southern is.
That was a great goal there from Southern, just really on the roll, prepared to go. It was great work in here. A little bit of a mix-up there between Southern and Ramiro, but then just the support, and that's been the essence of the Dogs' play today, the support, and credit was the support player on this occasion, running onto the contest, ensuring numbers were there. Forward handball to Southern, and from 50, he's finished it off.
Well, the Dogs kicked 7 goals in the second quarter, but they've surpassed that and kicked 8 in this third quarter. Ratton, what a quiet day, the best and fairest, out wide, and it's taken by Locke. Just in his second game, passing in short to the veteran Craig Bradley. He kicks to centre half forward. Rovers needed. Well, the Bulldogs have outroved them all day. Credial to Romero. Dimatina through the middle unchallenged. Hooks it back, a great kick. Just not quite hitting the target, but it's tapped back cleverly. Grant, and he returns the favour and taps it back. Curley, Romero, oh, was that a throw? Looked like it. Curley, oh, the umpire's going to ball it up. He could have paid about 3 free kicks there.
It's just outside 50. They're crawling on their knees.
Just getting a little bit too cute there, I think, the Bulldogs. Just trying to, finesse the ball too much, and really, they should continue to attack the goal square, put the pressure on the Blues there.
So the umpires are the villains here in a game where the score's 126-70. And the Bulldogs were greeted with thunderous applause at half-time for their magnificent second quarter. And, well, their third produced more goals, but they did also cough up 5 goals to the Blues. But, well, Carlton came from behind Adelaide last week to win, but not this far behind. And the Bulldogs well in charge at the last change. And I think most of the noise at three-quarter time was for the umpires rather than anything the players did. So at three-quarter time here at Optus Oval, it's the Dogs 26-126. How's that for straight kicking? To Carlton 11-470. So start of the last quarter here at Optus Oval, and a hell of a job in front of the Blues, especially the way the Bulldogs have been playing. Wine, clean possession out of the middle, up towards the 50. Southern from behind. Julio runs onto the hand pass. Hamill should have taken the mark. Ball's kept in by the Bulldogs. Dent goes along the boundary line to Johnson. Wirra under pressure, loses it in the tackle. Hamill. And a good pass. Andrew McKay. Ratton. Allen. Not quite off the fingertips. West. Another fantastic performance by West. He's up to 21 possessions. And look at that disposal. Out to Hudson. He's got support from Romero. They went back to go forward. Romero to the 50. And just got underneath the ball. Curley. And allowed Rice to take the mark.
So Rice looking for Whitnell, the two redheads combining. Lance Whitnell was brilliant in the first term and he's tried very, very hard since then, but the ball's been going down the other end a heck of a lot. Here's McKay, Porter in support. Porter tries to bend it back. Chance for Matty Hogg to run onto it. He taps it on, but well done, Matthew Dent. West, he loves the way he stops and balks, and it was very, very good play, but unfortunately for him, he's kicked it straight to Craig Bradley. He's off. Bradley going to try and bend it back in front of goal, hoping they can take a mark. Not quite. Cameron did well to spoil then. Dent, Croft, just a little fumble. Now Sexton is trying to get round on the left foot. Now the right on the boundary line. He's kicked it behind.
Macca, just watching the Bulldogs players when they broke up from the huddle at three-quarter time, they were just amongst each other talking. You could just really tell that they were enjoying themselves, and that's obviously indicative of their form. They're loving the way they're playing, and they're just so full of confidence. It's sensational to see.
Dent kicks to himself. And the hand pass is not great.
Dangerous, isn't it?
Wirra did pretty well to help him out.
Yeah.
Wirra gets it back from Dent. Johnson. The tacklers aren't moving to the Carlton players. They're just allowed to run down the field. Credial. Grant again takes his 11th mark.
He's given them a focal point all day, hasn't he? Whether it's been on the lead and short like that, or at times when they need to go long, he's been prepared to push back.
And he just delayed, and Hudson led and changed direction, and eventually it was such perfect delivery that Hudson eased up and took it on his chest. He's developed a different aspect to his game, Paul Hudson, not just relying on being a forward and a goal kicker. He's doing things around the ground, and he's had 12 possessions, taken 5 marks, going for his 3rd goal. High flyer wanted. Southern. And out.
Danny Southern did that brilliant one over the head, that soccer Maradona type goal up against the Brisbane Lions, and he was trying to do another miraculous one over the head. So it's in the forward pocket area. Scott Wine take on Porter. Well, they both miss it, actually. Almost a free kick to Porter there. Umpire calling play on. It's bent back by Dean Rice. Taken by Koutafidis. He gives it wide. It's Ratton. Now Locke. Oh, he's given it straight off. Now Grant. It might have been a free kick in that pack situation. It is to young Carlton player in Damien Locke.
Been a tough day for young Locke, just playing his 2nd game. Last week showed a great degree of promise, but a lot of the teammates have fallen away around him today, and so it's been a very tough one, but a great learning experience for young Damien Locke, I'm sure.
McKay down the boundary line, very awkward for Sexton. Ellis was able to meet the ball front on. Here's Grant again, didn't take the mark, but he's got the footy. Oh, great play, Chris Grant. You are a legend. Cook. Oh,
that was the kick.
Well, you won't see much better than that, will you?
No, you won't. I mean, centre-half forwards, they value the marking statistic and like to keep ticking that part of their column ticking over. But Chris Grant then, you know, didn't complete the mark. But what he did after that was far surpassed for taking the mark.
And it was such a fast kick and a low trajectory kick. The fullback had no chance. And he did it all on the turn, Terry.
Well, I mean, that was a fair draft back in 1988, wasn't it? Leon Cameron taking number 7. And this kid Grant at number 105.
Unbelievable. Well, Cook going for goal number 6. He can kick it a mile. And a mile and straight.
Well, he kicked 6 in the final game there last year for the Dogs. Has now come out and kicked a 6 nice and early in the season. It'll do his confidence a world of good. And Pete McKenna, that is a fair hit for a full forward, that kick, isn't it? I mean, it's long and straight.
And he gives himself a chance, Terry, because he goes back 20 metres. He has a lot of pace on the run up. He's balanced and he runs. When you watch him, he runs very straight at the goals, and that's why he gets so much power into his kicking. So again, it's young Porter against Wine. The centre plate's very important. Ramiro did well. Now the Blues try and shuffle it forward. This is Dent. Crediuk. Smith, you can see the pace of Smith. Look at that bounce. Now he centres it up here towards Danny Southern. Taken by Rice. Oh, Southern's got him. Quick hand pass. This is Hume. Hume wide. Locke. Onto the left. Oh, 1 against 2. The Bulldogs will probably win out here because Dent and Ellis were there against Whitnell. Chip pass. Finds Smith.
Rowan Smith, just 9 possessions so far. He did get them off and running with a goal in the first quarter. He's kicked 2 for the game. Dent, time to set up. Oof. Grant again. 12 marks. Cameron, turn of toe. Through Hudson it goes. Off the ground, Silvani. Lucky, Ratton marks at halfback. Firing out the hand pass to Sexton. He's got Locke wide. Porter and Locke, a couple of youngsters just making their way in league football. Porter with distance. He kicked a 60-metre goal earlier on. Oh, Croft fumbled. But time to recover.
So Matthew Croft played most of his football at full-back. Gives it off to Smith. Oh, geez, quick. Look at him go. He kicks a pretty ordinary kick, but the bounce might favour Hudson. Oh, good pickup by Paul Hudson. This is where he's improved. Usually, well, I was about to say his use of the ball, but that time it was poor. as he could not get it to Johnson, but at least he's looking for teammates all the time.
Yeah, and that's the essence of the Bulldogs game. It is quite a possession game, but as distinct to the definition of other teams that have used the possession style game, this one is very, very direct. They don't mess around on the wings too often. Grant obviously a focal point at centre forward.
So a free kick in that ruck contest. It looks like it's going to number 11, Porter, Mark Porter. Centre wing, Hogg couldn't hang on to it. And the Bulldog supporters out there absolutely delighted, particularly as little Matthew Hogg is a former Bulldog himself.
Yes, and hasn't had a great day with 8 possessions. For a former Blue who's become a Bulldog. What about James Cook? 6 goals. Hasn't he enjoyed his return to Optus Oval? Bradley. Dent, oh, he needed courage then. Out wide with his kick to Wirra. Fingertipper just inside the line.
There's a former Blue in the coach's box too, Drew. Phil Malin on the match committee out at the Western Bulldogs, so he would play a lot of football on this ground too.
61 points the margin. Curley takes the mark. West, another magnificent display. Liberatore not only tagging but winning the ball and kicking goals. Just offline. He's actually missed twice today.
So Tony Liberatore today joins Brian Royal on 199 games for the Bulldogs side. And by the end of the year, he'll step on up and he'll pass a few other greats like Norman Ware, Wally Donnell and Gary Dempsey. So he, in what probably is his last year, he's really knocking up some records now, Liberatore.
It was Damien Locke getting it down. Crediuk, Smith should pass. Find Wirra. Wanting the sting gone out of this game at the moment. Brad Wirra at half-back, a 50-metre penalty. So this will bring Wirra way up from half-back to half-forward. And again, the Blues' defence will be under the pump. You have to kick from 60, Wirra.
Yeah. And Pete, Wirra is one of the players who missed the final series last year too. Danny Southern missed, Collinyook missed. There's a heap of players that they're able to improve upon last year's performance with.
Here's Sexton. Oh, Whitnell couldn't quite hang on to it. Now will he go to the line? And he went for his teammate to bounce off Michael Sexton's chest and over.
That last contest, Macca, when Stephen Silvani and Chris Grant collided at centre forward, it was a monster.
Allen. And yeah, you're right, Pete. The sting has gone out of this. Some gaps opening up around Optus Oval. Allen long to full forward. Whitnell. But Cameron just floats back there.
Yeah, Matthew Allen missed the Dean Rice lead.
Yep.
Rice presented himself as he should do. Allen decided to come back in, but went to the square, and Cameron just easily back to clean up.
Yeah, Croft, he should be able to get around Allen. He does, and drives it up to half forward. Socket off the ground by Clappe. Peter Dean is there to lend support. Fraser Brown. Now he was off onto the left. Oh, they've got it covered though, those Bulldog defenders. Matthew Dent. Remember Bernie Quinlan used to tell us that he thought he was the hardest player he had when he coached Fitzroy. Here's Curley. Kicks it out. Oh, here's danger because Smith, but he might be able to run here. Here he goes. No, he's going to kick it instead. Beautiful kick. Is that a mark? I think it is a mark, and the umpire is saying exactly that. I think it's Danny Southern. A good kick.
Sensational
Good
kick,
mark
wasn't it?
too in the end.
Yep. I mean, pace in football is how quickly you can actually transfer the ball from one position or another. Now, that's done obviously by ball carriers who have got quick leg speed, like Brad Johnson, like Rowan Smith, but also it's being able to kick the ball nice and low so it gets to the target as quickly as possible, and Rowan Smith did it perfectly on that occasion. Southern finished it off by diving and meeting the ball.
He's kicked one. This is Daniel Southern, he likes to be called, and kick that like a defender, straight off the side of the boot and out on the full. And his kicking style is very unlike that of James Cook.
Oh, no.
Good, the kick in. Well, it's gone straight to Curley. Now, let's see if Curley is marked near the boundary line if he tries to centre this. It's exactly what he's doing. Look at this. Grant. Didn't quite grab hold of it. Dean, Camporelli onto Silvani, and the Blues are off and away through Giulio.
Fly called it well. That collision with Silvani did take the steam out of Grant. Flew one-handed then. Brown to centre half forward. Allen thought of the hand pass and then goes straight to the pass for Rice, who marks.
I tell you, Dean Rice hasn't given up, has he? He's been in there working hard. You know, in the forward line since he's been there, he's continually presented himself as an option and a target, sometimes ignored, sometimes not seen. But on that occasion, he was. Matty Allen honoured the lead and a very good, strong mark. You'll see him take it here very, very cleanly in the hands out in front of his face. Good, strong mark.
And here he is for his second goal. He's got it.
Some 13 disposals, a few marks, some tackles, a couple of goals. He's probably been amongst the better players for the Carlton side here today as Dean Rice. With the standout on the ground for me have been Chris Grant and Scott West. They'll fight out the 3 and 2 in most awards, I'd suggest, for today. And Dimartina's effort right in the heart of the game when it really had to be done, he was very, very good.
133 plays 77. Matthew Allen back in the ruck against Scott Wine. A good bounce by the umpire. Allen wins it. He's hogged advantage. Padels are going the way of the Bulldogs. It's going the way of the Bulldogs. Jose Ramiro, he's played another fine game. He really plays a bad one, Jose, because he minds a man. He also gets plenty of touches himself. Grant outnumbered. Koutafidis was there. Ratton, Silvani, Bradley. Dent at the back has got the sit. Goes for the thump. West and Fraser Brown. West trying to pick it up. Quick kick. That was clever play to Wine. And the big fella's doing some shepherding down there. There's Rowan Smith to kick it wide, looking for Pretiuk. Pretiuk with Whitnell after him. Well played, Steve Pretiuk. A very good hand pass to Ellis. The free kick was paid, then advantage. Ellis, a beautiful hand pass in front of Curley. The leads are coming thick and fast. Southern has got about 3 players to beat. He flies. Can't mark. Here's Collinnock on the left. Good play though by Silvani. Put him under enormous pressure and a great tackle there by Garland.
And another one.
They're working hard.
Yeah,
holding the ball. Scoreline's
Gee,
133 to 77, and they're tackling like it's scores level.
Oh, there's real pride in the game too, Drew. You know, I mean Carlton, they'd be very disappointed with today's performance, but they're not going to lie down at any stage. They want to work this one right to the end.
Smith doubles back, shrugs off the tackler. Beautiful pass. Grant. Oh, thanks for coming, Chris. 14 marks.
It's quite awesome, isn't it? You know, he last year 27 Brownlow medal votes and was beaten in the by being suspended. The year before, 20 votes, a runner-up position there, and it's in the last 2 years, you know, 47 Brownlow votes. And geez, I wouldn't mind putting a few bob on the umpires giving it again to him here today.
I think it's certainly to get him today.
He just keeps coming up.
He works so hard, doesn't he, Jerry?
I mean, he is an athlete. He really has taken the game on as a professional in all the realms that are necessary.
Plenty of deliberation over the kick. 47 metres. Wide behind the goals. And misses to the right. 2 goals, 1 to Chris Grant.
And I guess what's good is that there is a flaw in his game. And I think it's that. I think he's just a little bit too proppy on those kicks at goal. You know, he caresses it a little bit. I know Bernie Quinlan, when Bernie was coaching him, wanted him to relax more, particularly in the grip over the ball. That originally Chris was very, very tense in his hands when he went to guide the ball down the boot and wanted him to relax a little bit more. I just think sometimes now Chris does relax a little too much in his approach to it and hasn't got a strong follow through and hit on the ball.
Hat on the back for Rowan Smith from Paul Hudson. He goes to the bench. It's a 22-man game these days, isn't it?
Yep. I was just thinking that myself. But it's good to take a couple of champion players off and give them a rest in the closing moments of the game. Halfback, that's a mark. Yes, Darcy. Going to do a fresh man on. And Luke Darcy out to Cook, who's kicked 6 goals. Cook. Alice, still held after he got rid of it. Good skip, got to get a free kick there. Silvani appealing for a free kick. Here's Jose, kicked away by Julio. Garlick, the tunnel ball him. Here's Bradley. Oh, cleverly done. Well done, Craig Bradley. Whitnell might look for the hand pass. No, instead he kicks across to Dean Rice, who marks outside 50. Now he's a long kick. Umpire's called play on, has he? No. Yes, he has.
Yes, he has. Yeah.
Well, he just veered off that line, and good play to get it to Bradley.
Well, Craig Bradley, a really interrupted pre-season. Only played maybe a quarter or 2 quarters in the lead up to last week's game against Adelaide. Improved as the game went on last week. It has found it pretty tough today.
He's been a magnificent player over a number of years, Bradley, after coming from Port Adelaide. Now he's chipping it in short here. Dangerous kick because Cameron was waiting for it. Dent was there. Now Lever. Still getting hooted by the Blues supporters. Garlick around the boundary line. Curley is there. It's tapped back. Nice hand pass finds Hume. Hume to Allen. Allen over the top. Can the Blues manufacture something? Rice. Hogg. Oh, look at the tackle by Liberatore. Beautiful tackle. In goes Dean and Credioff, and the umpire will bounce.
What a display. He takes the hips out of blokes.
Well, he can't reach too much higher than the hips, true, you know. But I mean, that's the technique he has. He just, you know, the whole body's involved in the tackle. It's not just putting an arm in or a hand in. He's really in there pushing and shoving hard against the opposition body.
It's going Carlton's way towards goal. Dimatina. And he'll get a free kick. No, it's coming to Johnson. Across the ground to Dent, who's found some space. Curley's been quite good. Ball gets through him to Rice. Very high. Mark that if you're fair. Brown. And that's out. Just under 4 minutes left here. And at one stage, Carlton went something like 23 games straight, unbeaten here at Optus Oval. The run came to an end when the Swans beat them 2 years ago in their grand final year.
Do these away games count, Drew?
Well, it's still their training venue, so I'd count them.
Yep.
And for them to get flogged like this at their training venue is a real kick in the teeth. And there might be more to come for the Bulldogs. Ellis. Good pass. Southern. Under pressure, couldn't mark, but they've had crummers all day. Clever, Steve Collinghute. Southern couldn't mark. He missed the goals, Daniel, by about 20 metres. Silvani didn't clear the area. Ellis, casually to Grant. Here's Chris Grant. And he missed by 20 metres. Martin might keep it in.
Some good defensive work there by the Blues defenders. Although they're copping a hiding, they still work particularly hard to spoil some what looked like were going to be marks. Look at that, 15 kicks. And of those 15 kicks, he's taken 13 marks, Grant. There's Allen over the back. Koutafidis, oh, he broke that tackle beautifully. For half back, Bradley was held, I would think, against Garlick. They'll have to come back behind the mark, Craig. So he's looking across to see if he can transfer play here, and that's exactly what he is going to do. Have a bounce. He's looking for someone to run for him, and he has to kick it in short because there is no one out there. Well, here's Darcy, and the Bulldogs are off and running. Brad Johnson. Oh, good play on the Collinghute. Steve Collinghute will have a set shot. He's kicked 3 already. And he's developing into a, well, he's always been a talented player, but he's getting better.
Yeah. But yeah, this is his 12th year at the club, so he's been around a long time, and he's got to now be at the stage where he consistently delivers, and I think we've seen that change in Steve, and he has been much more consistent.
So Collinghute for goal number 4 is starting to bend back. There it is.
Well, it's been a funny old quarter. It's meandered. It's just 2 goals to 1 in this last term.
Nearly looking for the 9th innings rule that they have in baseball. You know, this one's
mercy
got
rule.
to, yeah, let's throw this one away. But and so yeah, I think both sides really now are keen to get off the ground and play and finish this one. The Dogs have done everything that they have to do to show that they are a force to be reckoned with this year.
Back in the middle with just 2 1/4 minutes left in the game. Liberatore pops one up for West. Another possession for West. Brown, oh, smothered off his hands by West. Hogg. Bradley for the Blues. Run down by Garlick. McKay. And Allen just outside the 50. Matty Allen goes for distance. Dean is there, he's their only hope. Oh, it's a free kick. Against you, Croft.
But gee, it's been a pretty good day for Crofty, hasn't he? I mean, Silvani started off with a real surge kick, 2 goals in the first quarter, and Croft stuck to his guns right throughout. Had a similar game last week against Lepic. Lepic kicked 3, but he was right there all the time, and so it has been a good day for the fullback. For Peter Dean, defence for the majority of the day, now down to have a final shot at goal.
And Peter Dean kicks the goal.
So now the sides really have to look towards their up-and-coming run, I guess. In terms of Carlton, they've got Essendon at the MCG next week and then Melbourne here at Optus Oval. It's going to be a short week for them to regroup. A lot has to be done, both physically on the track, technically on the track, and then the way in which the players mentally prepare themselves for the comeback game next week.
So set a break again here, where the Bulldogs have been so good all day. Allen taps it over the back, but Ramiro gets it out. A Curry kick to the half-forward line. Oh, thump down. That was good play. Koutafidis races away. Fraser Brown, oh, one-hander. Roped it in well. Now the chip pass is going to be out in front of Hume. He's latched onto this, looking for an option. The lead is on, and good mark, Dean Rice. He's tried hard, Terry.
Oh, yeah, yes. And you know, not a tall man, but keeps presenting himself as a chance.
Now he bends this back too far. And what he's been through with knee reconstructions and the like, it's a fantastic, even playing league football.
Yep, that's true.
Yes, it is a behind.
Could Lenny Cummings, please contact the social club reception. Lenny Cummings to the social club reception.
Pete, we've got, Drew, we've got the blood rule back here in midfield. Yep. It's Paul Dimatina coming off, being escorted right to the line here by Grant Vernon. And actually, that's the first time I've seen that too. That the umpire actually escort them to the towards the boundary line, ensuring that it's done, you know, quite quickly. Too often we see the players just meandering and wandering off and holding the game up unnecessarily. So if that's the direction to umpire Grant Vernon, I think it's a good addition to the umpire's role in the game.
Just seconds left as Dent kicks in. Johnson just inside the line. Well, unless Carlton can get the ball, there'll be no more scoring, you wouldn't think, prior to the full-time siren. 2 goals each in this last quarter. Kretiuk still in the defensive 50, and a high ball for Darcy. And there is. What a victory to the Western Bulldogs, who've torn the Blues apart at Optus Oval. Final margin 56 points, so the last quarter was level. Bulldogs 2 from 2 to start the season, and Carlton are 1 from 2. They used to be teammates there, James Cook and Anthony Koutafidis. Today, Cook returned as a visitor and kicked 6. Chris Grant, 15 kicks, 6 handballs, 13 marks. Tony Liberatore, he only got 13 possessions himself, but Bratton only got 13. So the points clearly go to Libba.
Yeah, they do, and congratulations to Tony Liberatore. Very tough week, and it's now behind him. Great support by all the Western Bulldog players, though, in this entire performance here today. They ran extremely hard at the ball. They were prepared to put numbers around it, And then, as Peter McKenna pointed out so often, their use of the ball generally was spot on. They looked very, very sharp with it. On the other hand, the Blues, after a good opening half of the first quarter, really were rocked back onto their back foot and could never get themselves back into the game. They struggled to win balls in the midfield and never really had anyone likely to kick a score for them in the forward line.
So the Blues, a lot of soul searching before next week. And the Doggies triumphant. Final score 22-8, 140 to 13-6, 84.
The football.